1974's The Chainsaw Massacre. It started a franchise which still goes on today. But this one I would consider a cult classic considering how disturbing a lot of the movie is. And not only is this film disturbing, but a large part of the movie really hunkers back to what a slasher movie really is. So the story of this one is that a group of friends, they're going on a road trip when they pick up a hitchhiker, and so that was one of their big mistakes. And then they eventually come across Leatherface. And from there you got a movie that I thought was alright when I first saw it a few years ago. And the thing about this movie is the mere fact it was controversial when it came out back in the 1970s, even though there's a little bloodshed in this film. Because no matter how much the late Tobe Hooper, the director of this film, it still kept getting an R rating. I will say this movie did bring some new elements into the horror genre, such as the killer chasing its victim, and as well as the disfigured face of the monster, something we will see in other movie franchises throughout the decades. When it comes to the visual shots, it's actually pretty interesting considering we see the close-up of Sally's eyes, the horror she experiences, and how messed up this family really is. Nonetheless, though, at the end of the day, this is a film that has its disturbing moments all throughout it. But as far as a horror film that came out back then, it works for what happens throughout the movie. Now, to be completely honest, the acting is fine. It's just the characters are subpar. Seriously, all these characters in the movie, they really don't have any character development. I didn't know most of these characters' names unless they were yelling it out in the woods. But I will say, as far as Sally is, she survives at the end, but, at what cost? She lost all her friends and whatnot. But the real main draw of this movie is Leatherface. He was the first movie villain really before the other movie villains throughout the years. But he's not that intimidating. To be honest, he's a little mentally challenged. And one thing I really would say is that at least the ending with him swinging the chainsaw like a maniac, in anger, it's alright, it's iconic to say the least. Now this film does have that disturbing imagery like I mentioned before, but as a slasher movie, I've seen better ones. It's just that, if we explore more on the characters from the antagonist side, then it would play better overall. This film, I don't think it's that great. Sure, it's a cult classic, but it's not for everyone, to be honest. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. I would have rated this higher. It's just the subpar characters and Leatherface really not being intimidating really affected this movie in a way. I will say this film did influence future franchises, such as The Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, or even the Child's Play series, which has their own movie monsters in their own right. Nonetheless, though, when it comes down to it, this is still a suspenseful horror film despite it coming out nearly 50 years ago. And horror fans of this film still talk about it even today. And that is my review of the original The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. And what are your thoughts on this franchise? Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.